Welcome to my YouTube channel, Family Drama Files. Please like, share, subscribe for more emotional videos.
I was already late for work. In the rush, I grabbed the wrong phone from the kitchen counter without even looking. I did not realize it belonged to my wife until my train left the station. Just as I unlocked the screen to call her, a call came in from my sister-in-law. I almost ignored it, but something told me to answer. The first sentence she said made my heart stop. She believed she was talking to my wife. What she confessed next shattered everything. I thought I knew about my family. Stay until the end because one unexpected phone call exposed a secret nobody was supposed to hear. My name is Owen. I am 36 years old, and I live in Manchester with my wife, Grace. We had been married for 8 years. Our life looked ordinary from the outside. We both worked full-time. We owned a small house. We spent weekends visiting family. I believed we trusted each other completely. That morning, everything felt normal. I overslept after working late the night before. Grace was still getting ready. While I rushed through breakfast, my phone and hers were lying side by side on the kitchen table. Both had similar black cases. Without thinking, I picked one up and ran out the door. The train had already started moving. When I reached into my pocket, the wallpaper was not mine. It was a picture of Grace and her younger sister, Chloe. I smiled and shook my head. I planned to call Grace and tell her we had swapped phones. Before I could dial her number, the phone rang. The screen showed Chloe. I answered without saying much. She immediately started talking. Grace, I cannot believe you actually kept this from him. When are you finally going to tell Owen the truth? I froze. She continued speaking because she thought I was my wife. You cannot hide it forever. He deserves to know who really paid for the house and why your father forced everyone to stay quiet. Every word made my hand shake. I stayed silent. Then Chloe laughed nervously. Please promise me you will tell him before the family dinner this weekend. If Uncle William says something first, everything will explode. The call ended. I sat there staring out at the train window, trying to understand what I had just heard. The rest of the day, I could not focus at work. Questions filled my mind. What truth? What secret? Why had everyone stayed quiet? That evening, Grace called my phone from a coworker's device. We agreed to meet after work and exchange our phones. She looked nervous the moment she saw my face. I handed her phone back. Then I asked one simple question. What was Chloe talking about this morning? The color disappeared from her face. She asked if I had answered the call. I nodded. For a long moment, she said nothing. Finally, she whispered, I never wanted you to find out like this. We drove home in complete silence. Once we sat down, she opened an old folder she had kept hidden inside a cabinet. Inside were bank records, letters, and one document with my late mother's signature. Grace looked at me with tears in her eyes. Years before we married, my mother had secretly invested money into a property project. She knew she was seriously ill and wanted to leave something behind for my future family. After she passed away, the investment grew far beyond anyone expected. My father never told me because he believed I would waste the money while I was still young. Instead, he asked Grace and her parents to protect the investment until the time was right. The house we lived in had been bought almost entirely with that money. I felt angry, not because of the money, because every person I loved had lied to me for years. Grace admitted she wanted to tell me many times, but she had promised my father she would wait. Before I could respond, someone knocked on the front door. It was my father. He had already heard about the phone call. He looked tired. For the first time in my life, he apologized. He admitted he had made the wrong decision. He thought protecting the secret would protect me. Instead, it damaged the trust between us. The following weekend, our whole family gathered together. No more lies. No more hidden conversations. Every document was placed on the table. Every question was answered honestly. It took time to rebuild trust, but from that day forward, we promised that no family secret would ever be more important than the truth. Sometimes the biggest surprise is not betrayal. Sometimes it is discovering how many people made the wrong choice while believing they were protecting the person they loved most. That one accidental phone swap changed my life forever. If Chloe had waited just one more hour, I might never have learned the truth. Sometimes fate does not knock on the front door. Sometimes it calls the wrong phone at exactly the right moment. Trust can survive painful truths, but it rarely survives hidden ones.